You know, have you ever been in a situation, maybe at work or on a big project, where one key person, one crucial role, just isn't quite delivering? And you look at the overall plan, the strategy, and it feels, well, maybe a bit flawed.
hmm Yeah, absolutely.
The talent's there, the resources seem fine, but this one piece isn't clicking. And look, even if you're not a cricket fan, those ideas, team dynamics, resource allocation, adapting your strategy, they apply everywhere, right?
Totally. Business, projects, anything competitive, really.
So today we're diving deep into exactly that kind of puzzle, but we're looking at it through the lens of something very specific. India's fourth seamer in this current 2025 Test series against England.
Right. Seems niche, maybe, but it opens up a lot.
It really does. And this isn't just guesswork. We're digging into the stack of sources you've given us, match scorecards, detailed player profiles, and some pretty sharp opinions from experts like R. Ashwin and Sanjay Manjrekar.
Good stuff there.
Our goal here is to unpack this curious case of the fourth seamer. Why has this position been, well, the sources say, underutilized and underwhelming? And what does that tell us about the team's strategy?
Okay, and just quickly, for anyone maybe less familiar with Test cricket, it's the long form, right? Up to 5 days, 2 innings per team to bat.
Mm-hmm.
A seamer is your fast bowler, basically. They use the seam, the stitching on the ball, to make it move unpredictably. Crucial for getting batsmen out.
And the fourth seamer.
That's usually the fourth fast bowler in the team. Kind of a support role, shares the workload with the main guys, keeps the pressure on. Think of them as a utility player maybe, gives the stars a break, bowls some tight overs.
Got it. And the series context.
Yeah, this is part of the big one, the World Test Championship. Started June 20th, 2025. Right now, as we record this on July 30th, England's actually leading 2-1.
Ooh, tight?
Very. And the decider, the fifth and final test at the Oval, it starts tomorrow, July 31st. So, high stakes.
Okay, let's unpack this then. Because when you look at the data, the pattern is, well, it's pretty interesting. Mm-hmm.
The sources make it really clear that India's main picks for this fourth-seamer job, Shardul Thakur and Nitish Kumar Reddy, they've had some real struggles. Let's start with Shardul. He played all 4 tests so far.
Right.
And the numbers, I mean, they're stark. He bowled 118 overs across those 4 matches.
That's a lot of bowling for a fourth seamer, actually.
It is, conceded 440 runs, and here's the real kicker. 0 wickets. Not one.
Wow. 0. Across 118 overs.
0. Think about that strategic burden. A key bowler soaking up that much game time but offering no breakthroughs, that leaves a massive gap.
It's like having a machine running constantly but producing nothing on the assembly line. It just consumes energy. His economy rate, the average runs per over, was about 3.73. Not disastrous, maybe?
But no wickets.
But no wickets. That's the whole point, right? Taking wickets is the bowler's main job. It's like serving dinner without the actual main dish. The sources show, first 3 tests, he bowled roughly 30 overs each time, went for over 100 runs each time. 0 wickets. Consistent? Yes, but consistently. Not delivering. Underwhelming is the word, yeah. And then there's the other guy, Nitish Kumar Reddy. He's seen as a promising all-rounder, bat and bowl.
Right, younger player.
But the sources show he only played 1 match, the 3rd test at Lord's. He bowled 22 overs, took 3 wickets for 82 runs. Economy rate 3.72, pretty much the same as Shardul's.
Okay, so 3 wickets in 22 overs.
Yeah.
That's a much better return, isn't it? Getting key guys like Duckett and Crawley out.
Exactly. Looked promising. But then, boom. July 21st, news comes out he's injured. Left knee, out for the rest of the series.
Typical. Just when someone shows a spark,
Yeah.
that's like finding a great new hire who immediately gets sick. You see the potential, but gone.
Right. So one guy bowls a ton, gets no wickets. The other shows promise, gets wickets, then gets injured.
Leaves you in a tough spot.
Which brings us to the strategy itself. The research, the sources, they really point towards India prioritizing batting ability when picking these all-rounders for the 4th spot.
Yeah, it seems like they want someone who can add runs down the order.
It looks like they're choosing players to bolster the batting, maybe even if it means the bowling in that 4th seamer slot isn't quite as reliable or potent. But I wonder, is that maybe a conscious gamble? Trying to get extra runs in English conditions, which can be tough for batting.
That's a really good point. It's always a trade-off in selection, isn't it? You strengthen one area, you might weaken another. But the consequence here seems pretty clear.
Which is?
Well, if your 4th bowler isn't effective, isn't taking wickets, or even tying up an end reliably, it just heaps enormous pressure onto your main strike bowlers. Jasprit Bumrah, Mohammad Siraj.
Yeah, they have to carry the load.
Exactly. It's like asking your 2 lead runners in a relay to carry all the water for the whole team. The stats really back this up. In that fourth test, Thakur bowled just 11 overs. India bowled 157.1 overs in total in England's innings.
Only 11 from the fourth-seamer.
Barely used.
Uh-huh.
And across the whole series so far. The fourth-seamer spot, combining Thakur and Reddy, has bowled only 55 overs, out of a total of over 670 overs bowled by India.
Wow, what percentage is that? Like 8%.
Yeah, about 8.2%. Think about that. A main bowler might bowl 20-30 overs per innings. Here, the whole roll across 4 tests is barely contributing 8% of the overs. That's a serious tactical gap. The roll isn't fulfilling its purpose.
It's like you bought this specific tool for a job, but you barely ever take it out of the toolbox. And this isn't totally new for India, is it? The sources mention past series.
No, it's a recurring theme sometimes. Players like Umesh Yadav, Ishant Sharma, they've filled this role before with, varying degrees of success.
Yeah, I saw the comparison. In the 2021 series here, Ishant Sharma, often as the fourth-seamer, took 11 wickets in 4 tests.
Right. 11 wickets versus
Shardul 0 this time. Big difference.
Huge difference. It just highlights that balance you need in Test cricket. England, for example, they nearly always stack their attack with multiple reliable seam bowling options. India, by focusing on batting all-rounders for this specific slot, may be trying to fix a batting worry. Well, it seems they've created a bowling problem.
Trying to patch one hole and opening another.
Kind of feels like that. It's like trying to bake a cake but leaving out the eggs. You can try and adjust, but it's probably not going to turn out quite right.
And the fans, they've definitely picked up on it. The sources mentioned the social media chatter, people tweeting stuff like,
Oh, I can imagine.
why is Shardul bowling if he's not getting anyone out? Give the ball to the umpire. That kind of frustration. It suggests maybe the team needs a rethink.
And that, naturally, leads to the next question.
Yeah.
If this strategy isn't quite firing, what else could they do? And this is where those expert opinions get really interesting, quite unconventional, actually.
Exactly. Some experts, notably R. Ashwin, have floated the idea of using Kuldeep Yadav.
The wrist spinner.
Yes,
Yeah.
the left-arm wrist spinner, potentially as the fourth-seamer. Now, hang on. I know what people might think. A spinner as a seamer, that's like asking your accountant to rewire your house.
Right. It sounds contradictory. They do different things.
They do, but the thinking here, seems, isn't about him bowling seam-up. It's about using him as an additional bowling option to solve the problem of wicket-taking and effectiveness that the actual fourth-seamers haven't provided.
It's about tactical flexibility, isn't it? Kuldeep offers something completely different. Left-arm wrist spin, it's rare, and he can take wickets. Not just on spinning pitches, but even on flatter ones, because his variations, his googlies and sliders can trouble batsmen.
And Manjrekar said something similar.
Yeah, Sanjay Manjrekar, writing on ESPN Cricinfo, basically said India needs to think about bowling first for this role. He argued Kuldeep's selection could fix the imbalance, give the captain, Shubman Gill, another genuine attacking weapon, especially maybe later in the innings or against the tailenders.
It's like, okay, you need something sharp. Maybe you were looking for a specific knife, but hey, the Swiss Army knife has a really sharp blade that might just do the trick, even if it wasn't what you initially planned for.
Good analogy.
The tricky part is just the terminology, isn't it? Fourth-seamer implies fast bowling. But with the series poised at 2-1, England ahead. Final test coming up literally tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe a bold out-of-the-box move is needed.
Could be. Desperate times, perhaps, or just smart adaptation.
So let's just recap this core dilemma we've unpacked. India's strategy, prioritizing batting depth with guys like Shardul Thakur and Nitish Kumar Reddy in that all-rounder spot, it's created a real headache.
A bowling headache.
Definitely. And it's piled the pressure squarely onto Bumrah and Siraj, the main bowlers.
And just hammering home those performance numbers again because they really tell the story. Shardul Thakur, 118 overs, 4 tests, 440 runs, 0 wickets, economy 3.73.
0 wickets.
Nitish Kumar Reddy showed that spark, 3 wickets for 82 runs in just 22 overs at Lord's, but then, unlucky, out with that knee injury. So the role itself, the fourth bowler spot, has contributed just 55 overs out of nearly 700 bowled by India in the series. That's barely 8%. It just screams tactical gap, doesn't it?
It really does. Which circles us back to that unconventional idea, using Kuldeep Yadav, the wrist spinner, as that extra bowling threat.
Yeah, suggested by Ashwin, Manjrekar,
Yes.
others.
Even though he's not a seamer, the point is he offers wicket-taking potential, variety, something different, which might be crucial in English conditions, especially at the Oval, which can sometimes assist spin later on. It's about using the tools you have, maybe in an unexpected way.
And if we connect this back for you, listening, this whole situation is more than just cricket strategy, isn't it? It's really a fascinating case study. Decision-making under serious pressure.
Hmm.
When a key part of your plan, your team, isn't working out, what do you do? Do you stick rigidly to the defined roles, the traditional way, or do you get creative, try something unorthodox that might just unlock things?
So as India goes into this massive final test at the Oval, starting tomorrow, just hours away, really,
Hmm.
what does this whole fourth seamer struggle tell us about specialist versus versatile all-rounders, about how teams balance their resources?
Big questions.
Will they make that bold call, maybe bring in Kuldeep? Or will they stick with the strategy that, well, hasn't really paid off in this series so far? And whatever they choose, what does that tell us about being adaptable, about changing course when things aren't working, especially when the stakes are this high? So, what does this all mean for how we think about strategy, not just in cricket, but in any competitive field?